Hello, YouTube. Thank you so much. I hope you had a good week. Okay. When is today actually? Sunday for some of you, actually Sunday for most people. Okay. I wish you a good week coming up. Coming up. Today we are going to learn how people get green card jobs in America. Okay. You need to know how people get green card jobs in America. And I'm going straight to the point because many of you have never understood how. You just hear people went to America, they have jobs. How do they get green card jobs? And I know many of you, you know the DV lottery. DV lottery is here for you. Let us wait for May. Okay, May is coming. We are going to see the results in May. So DV lottery, we've exhausted. Many of you applied. We are not going to talk about DV lottery. We are just going to wait and see what happens. Most of you applied. Good luck. Good luck. Okay. Enjoy Christmas. When 2023 comes, we'll be able to know how people, get green cards through lottery. Some of you will win. But that's not all I'm talking about because most of you know. The reason you follow Janet is to tell you things from the ground, how people actually get these green cards and how they get these jobs so that you can prepare. Some of these things you can do when you are home. How do people get jobs, specifically on green cards? Okay, so many of you qualify, okay, because most of you think green card lotteries. I'm not talking about lottery. So let's see how you get a green card in America. It's these things I'm telling you every day on this YouTube. When I tell you go for a visiting visa, some of you are just thinking of visiting visa. Case in point, actually, let me just discuss a case, and that was the motivation. These days, anyway, most of the times, I used to get the motivation from some of you when you come and talk to me, and then I get the motivation. I'm like, oh, that's a good topic for most people. So this motivation came from one of my consultations. Um, the guy is stuck with a decision. And I say, why? Maybe because I don't do a good job explaining. Maybe this is a chance for me to explain. Okay. And so specifically, they wanted to come and visit. They wanted other things, but we settled on this visiting because we are curious. Visiting is about touring. Visiting is about learning. Visiting is about connection. Visiting is not about coming to work, driving, and staying in America. It's a temporary visa. You come, you go back. Most of you have heard me say this a million times. Most of you have followed people. You've read now, of course, you're very smart people. You know a visiting visa is specifically a temporary visa to bring you to America for you to enjoy, learn, see, tour, sightsee, enjoy, and go. Okay. And now the question becomes, but Janet, what if I come then I change my mind? I just don't see myself. I can't destabilize my family. I said, these are very good answers. In fact, when you go to the embassy, if you're smart enough and you tell them that, they'll know that, hey, I have no intent of going to America and just sticking there. I have the intent of coming back home because of this job, because of my family, because of school. But let's answer this man's question. In the event that you change your mind, okay, you can't just come today and you change status. That is questionable. Okay, in the event that you come and you stay around and say, hey, I think I saw good things, it's an opportunity for me to stay in America, what are you gonna do? And let me explain how people come to America. They start like that. This visiting visa, when I tell you apply, some of you, because it will give you that opportunity to see. And now you change. Your intent is very clear. Your intent was to come to visit. Or maybe some of you, I know some of you that come many times, you go back, you come, you go back. Eventually, you're like, you know what? This time, let me go and see if I can get something out of this. Then you come and then the law. I am not a lawyer. Disclaimer, okay? But the law says you can change. And the provision is there, okay, on the website, that, hey, in the event you come and tour, you can always change to student visa. So let's look at this scenario. So I was telling him, you're on the ground, you came to tour. Some people, this is what happened, they changed to student visa. And some of you know very well, okay? Maybe you had a passion to do nursing. You go and do and you get a green card. That is how it happens. Some people come here, they're young, they fall in love. Some people come here and, and they have political persecution. They're like, maybe this is a chance for me to seek, a refuge. Some people come here and they work on their masters and they work on their PhD. That is how it happens. And so when I'm saying this visiting visa, this guy, I don't think he has the background. I know most of you know, but I'm getting people that just had Janet, go to Janet, which thank you for sending referrals. And so they don't have this background. But I said, how about there's one person that is following me for the first time today, and by the way, subscribe, we love you. And they don't know these things. I know some of you are seasoned followers, you're very smart, you're just, this is music to your ear. There are people who will see this video as the first time, okay? And if they don't have the background knowledge, when they come, they'll be very worried. Now you say, but Janet, you can explain. You can explain. Yes, I can explain. But again, if someone has never watched my videos, they don't have that courage. They don't have the information to top it up. You understand? So visiting visa, yes, you end up doing nursing. Okay, good, good, good. But that's not nursing alone. So let me explain how people get, because there's this misconception that only nurses can get visas, you know? So when a nurse comes to the United States, yes, they get a green card. Everyone can get a green card. Let me just start there. Okay, everyone can get a green card. And how? Let me just tell you that there are different kinds of green cards, and I'll not go into explanations. If you want explanations, please go down here, follow Janet Rangi, subscribe and look. EB1 I've talked about, EB2 I've talked about in these videos. But let's stick on EB3, and that's why I say anyone can get a green card. EB3 is for skilled workers and non-skilled workers. So you come here, okay, and I don't know, you finish business administration. You have a master's in business administration. And maybe you go for OPT, which is optional practical training. And the employer likes you. Did you know that the employer can file? But how do they file that? Through EB3 visa. What is EB3? Skilled and unskilled. And by the way, so I started hearing people saying, oh, you can go to America as a certified nurse assistant. Did you can get EB3? Now the word EB3 is being flowed. A, B, C, D, EB3, EB3. Okay. But we didn't know what EB3 means. These nurses get EB3. It's a category of green cards. And if you stick there, it's skilled and unskilled. For skilled workers, they expect you to have 3 years of education, 4 years of education and above. For non-skilled, they've added that because I used to wonder, how can that happen? I went and did my research. And when I did the EB3, I saw skilled and non-skilled workers. So that is true. Okay. Now, any career, but this is where it's a catch. If you take a career that is not competitive, you are not needed. Well, you are needed, but the natives are here, because remember the process of EB3 is to prove to the labor department that, hey, we are not going to take away American jobs. So let me explain how people actually get. Okay, you get a scenario of a nurse, you get a scenario of a business administration, you get a scenario of a history professor, right? The employer likes you. EB3, you can never petition yourself. You can't just say, hey, I'm EB1. EB1, they can petition with or without an employer. They just go to a lawyer, they show things, they will be given. Not given, they will make it up, they will petition. Now, for us, most of us, you fall on EB3. There's EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5. Go and watch. I'm going to stick with EB3 because that's where most of you fall. Okay? 3 years, 4 years. Sometimes now with non-skilled, you're a plumber. Guess what? You can apply. You want to work in a concrete farm, wherever company, you can apply. You understand? But you need an employer. This is the key word. You need who? An employer. It's a sponsorship job. An employer has to say they're interested in you. They offer the salary. And then once they offer the salary, now they petition for you. And I think it's the I-130. Don't quote me on the forms. Then when the I-130 is approved, then it goes to the visa center. Then guess what? You start waiting for the green card. Keyword employer. What does the employer do to get the ball rolling? Recruit you, maybe work with you during internship, use your education that you have, request a labor review. Okay, labor review can take months. What is happening during labor review? They are proving that no American has come to apply for that job, which is a protocol. Believe you me, all nurses go through this, except during the pandemic. They just needed people. They had to bypass, especially even in Canada, they had to bypass some of these things. But ideally speaking, there's that process where you have to prove to the labor department, no American has applied. Number two, the company is able to afford the same salary they are paying the American. Why? Because they do not want to depress American wages. You understand? So if they come in and they say, we are just going to get these ones and pay them less, you see what can happen to the population here. So they have to protect the American population to make sure that the salary, the employer has money. okay, has enough money to petition and pay at the same rate as the local people. You understand? And that's once that has been proved, they will announce, I don't know, the bulletin, they call them bulletins. When no one has applied, then that is when they'll petition for you. And trust me, all nurses go there. Do you think some hospitals probably announce and someone applies? I think so. But they look at the general picture. You understand? So once it's in that labor, then once it goes through that, then they petition for you for a green card. Now, some of you are, but how long does it take? It takes forever, 2-3 years. Let me tell you something. Maybe you didn't know. When they put in the green card for you, they can give you a work permit. My day's work permit used to take 4 weeks. These days it takes 3 months, but I was reading now it's taking very quick. It's back to the old days. Meaning once the lawyer and the employer petition for you a green card and you are scared it's going to take 2 years, it doesn't matter if you're in America. They have to petition and make sure they do this. They add what? A work permit. Guess what? It's called an EAD. When that one is filed for you, the green card can take time. You probably don't need a green card for now. A work permit will give you a job in America. A work permit will send you to the motor vehicle department. You will get a driver's license. If you want to go to school, actually you can. Okay, but if you want to travel, they have to file for something called advance parole. Never forget that. When you're changing status, what is happening here? Let me explain to my people in simple language so we can understand. I like putting it practical so that you can understand how it works. Why would people need advance parole? In my opinion, okay, this is how I look at things. This is how I interpret things. Oh, Janet, but I came in as a student. I came in as a visitor, and yes, I can just exit because my visa is still active. You exit, you'll be locked out. You might not be able to come in. So during the change of status, this is what is happening. You came in as EB1, EB2. You came in as a visitor. The records have recorded you as a visitor. Now, when you reached here, you saw good things. You went to school, okay? Or an employer petitioned for you to change from visiting visa to green card. Yes, it can happen. Through marriage, through jobs, okay? Yes, you can change from visiting to green card. You can change from student to green card, okay? Most people, that is what happens. But during this period, I want you to understand, during this period, you are confusing the system. So if you exit, they don't know how to bring you in. But if you apply for advance parole, they are going to reconcile the records. So which means they are going to tell the computer, hey, this is the person that came on eBay on a visiting visa. Now they are change of status. Let's fix this record. So if they exit, we'll know who is coming in. So that is how it works. You see? And by the way, let me tell you, some of you who are changing from visiting to student, they will not stamp an F1 visa in your passport. They'll give you approval to go to school. Okay. Why? Again, the same reason I've applied. They cannot confuse the system. Your entry was the I-94 record. If you don't know, is the entry departure record. They will tell you, hey, you came in on 22nd of June. You need to exit by January 24th. That is called I-94. Every time you travel, they ask you I-94. Remember what Janet told you? You can even just go and type on Google I-94. And you will see your name there. You put in everything, and then you'll see you can print your I-94 record. You see? So they will never stamp an F1 visa for you because you came in as a visitor, but they will give you approval. Okay. But if you leave the country, for example, you travel to across the border and you come in, and I'm not advising you to do this, or you go to Canada or any American embassy, that is the only time you can tell them, hey, here's my approval. Now stamp. And then they will stamp for you an F1 visa. Because why? Now when you come in, you are clear. The computer will record you now as F1 entry. So it's just a way of keeping the records clean. So that's why I'm telling you, once you're in that process of change of status, do not just take the plane and go home. And yes, I'm talking to you who has not come to America yet. Okay, you have to keep the record clean. Once you're in that process of change of status, you have to ask for permission to leave. And how do you ask for that permission? You apply for something we call advance parole. Okay, once advance parole has been approved, then you feel free. That is your traveling document. Until you get your green card, then hey, you don't need advance parole anymore. Okay, and once you get the green card, you have it for if you got it through marriage to an American citizen, you wait 3 years, you apply for citizenship if you want. If you got it through EB3, which is a green card for workers, employment authorization, then you wait for 5 years. Then you apply what? For citizenship. Some people come here and they get a green card, like some who win DV lottery. They think 10 years it will go fast. They get busy, they don't care. Before they know it, the green card expired long time. And then you are back to square one. So you always want to either remember to renew it every 10 years as a permanent resident, or after you stay continuously in the United States for 5 years, you want to petition for citizenship. So you never have to apply for these things again. Once they give you citizenship, you'll always be called citizenship through naturalization. Okay, naturalization meaning you are not born here, but they offered you citizenship through naturalization, and they'll give you a naturalization certificate. That is what you'll take to the post office or wherever you want to get an American passport. Once you have the American passport, ooh, la la la, you can always travel in, out, in, out, in, out, as you so wish. Okay, now EB3 generally is where most of you fall. So when you hear people saying EB3 these days, EB3, 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 that is what they mean. It's just a green card. This is how nurses have come all these years, but people never used to know it was EB3. Of course, unless they did homework, like some of us. Okay, there are so many ways, so green cards people get, and all these green cards, you work and live in America permanently, whether it's EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5, and I've done videos on what those mean. You can get a green card through marriage. You can get through fiancé visa. You have fiancé, then you change to marriage. You can get through asking for help if you have political persecution, okay, or any other persecution that is listed by the law. You can get a green card and you'll be able to work. You understand? So all this is, and now I go back to that example, to this young man who came to me, and I just fear, I just fear, I just fear. Most people who are here, this is how they started. Most of them, that is how they started. Okay, but of course your intent, and that is why the law at the embassy is very clear. Okay, when you hear me saying they're looking at one law, anyone coming to the United States on a temporary visa has the intent of staying and never going back. Therefore, it's up to you to give compelling reason that you'll go back. Reasons. Now you can see clearly, they know what is in here, and they know some people can play the game, and they try to avoid that. They know that some of you will come and you'll see these opportunities and you want to stick around. And so they had better take care of you when you are right there. Okay, and just to summarize for you, how some of you are wondering how you'll fight for these chances. I want you to sell yourself. I want you to think of those 3 minutes. Okay, those 3 minutes are the ones that are going to give you that green card. If you think like that, I think you'll take it more seriously. Okay, I tell people, then start smiling. From if you're warm, you are welcoming, you want to maintain. You have to maintain the same energy from beginning to end. You cannot 3 minutes, and they will stamp money on your passport. Yes, I call it money. I call that money because that is what it is. Okay, so that is how people come. It's everyone. That is how people come. I'll be honest. If that is not how people came here, I don't know how they'll manage to maintain this system. Okay, because the system does not go recruiting anyone. So you tell me, how do people come? Apart from the ones who have, so there's also green card through family reunification. Like me, I can apply for my mom, okay? I can apply for my parents. I can apply for my brothers and sisters. And it just goes on and on and on. But other than that, is through jobs. And those jobs, how do they come? Through you coming on a student visa. And then they like you. By the way, they like students who are very bright in their STEM. When you come here and you do a very good job, they want to keep you. Did you know that? If you come here and you complete a master's program, they would love to keep you because you are a resource to the country. And then, so now, can you imagine if I'm talking to someone who's just referred to Janet for the first time? So then I have to do all this convincing, and I'm not in the business of convincing. I'm in the business of explaining. And then people make an informed choice. You know what? I love something called informed choice. That means you made a choice with all the information you need. You understand? But if you're meeting this information for the first time, can you imagine telling someone, how can I leave my job? I cannot leave my job. Oh, my children are in high school. I cannot do this. I understand. I understand. Okay. But for me, the most important thing is the visa. It's a good problem. But how will I live there? Yeah, Janet. But that's why the embassy assessed you to see if you'll be able to live here or not. Okay. And then another way of looking at it, so what do you want us to do? Okay. So you either you jump or you don't. You understand? And no one can jump for you. But what we can just tell you is this is what happens. Okay. People have come and they've liked what they see. So again, that is why you have a visiting visa, is to explore. Once you explore, but if you explore with information, the problem is people used to come and explore without information. But if you come to explore with information, then you are very good. Okay. Okay. All right. Guys, I love you so much with your comments. I love you so much for following of subscribe. Okay. So in a nutshell, what Janet has said, you come. When you come, you get a green card. And I'm not promising anything, but I'm just telling you how it happened. From experience. I came as a student. If some of you are meeting Janet for the first time, I'm coming here I came here as a student, F1 student. And I repeat that video that I did last year. It was how I came to America, the little known secret. That was my title. Okay. And that video went into millions of views. And some of you made applications in a rush. You just want to be like Janet without doing the homework. Okay. There are some who succeeded, but I got a lot of information of some who did not. Because remember, those were many years ago. Okay, so you really have to put in work. And as I always say, when I go in the back and people call me, when I review your paper, I always see a problem. Okay, like today I saw one of my clients who I love. He came and I saw that he had graduated in 2007. And so when I'm doing my videos, my information is very helpful for general. Okay, but you're probably thinking, the reason I didn't get is because I didn't have any previous travel. Oh, the reason I didn't give it was because maybe it was my sponsor. Janet says, these anchor statements don't work. Okay. And we don't know. But when he told me everything, I was like, graduating in 2007, I would have done things differently. And I would have advised you to take this other pathway to improve your chances of getting a visa. You see? So, and then, by the way, thank you for the comment. So I came across a comment here on one of my videos. I'm just gonna give up. By the way, never give up. Don't never give up. You give up, you have no chance. You keep going, you have a chance. I'm just gonna give up. I'm tired of paying these appointment fees 5 times now. They've denied me. If you're listening, please listen. I typed an answer to you, but you'd listen again. Okay. I used an example here. They used a lot in politics. You cannot keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So the question is, have you ever gone for embassy training? Have you ever called friends to look at your DS-160? Have you involved other people that have more experience? What have you done to improve that application? Did I'm just going to turn, how discouraging it is when you get denied. You feel like just going back the next day. You are in disbelief. You are discouraged. Some people cry. Yes, it's okay to cry, but think through it. You are not the first one, and people still make it. And I want you to keep staying strong. Don't give up. They'll give you. But when you're making that trip back, what has changed? Always ask that question. And if you are doing things on your own, no one has gone through your application. No one has helped you with anything. What do you expect? Of course, you guys. Okay. JanetRanky67@gmail.com if you need any help. But I'm just telling you, some of you are going back to the embassy. And I know what it takes. I'll tell you what it takes. In fact, I'm going to come and describe to you individually. I'll give you case studies of what happens. Okay. What happens if you go to the embassy and you're denied? And I've done a video, but this time I'll go question by question and tell you where you're going wrong. As I've just given you, do you think every time I do a video, don't I give you an example? I just told you my client, 2007 high school. So we have to know what we are going to put in that DS-160. It's not just a matter of listening to Janet her embassy videos and you are good to go. Good job. Of course, we have a good record on this forum. So subscribe. I love you, and my goal is to leave you better than you found me. And don't miss the next topic. I'll come back and tell you the questions that will come in the embassy. And guess what? I'll tell you how that will happen. Merci beaucoup. I will see you in the next video. Guys, do you know what time it is? I'm going to sleep for about 4 and 5 hours. And then I'll be back to serve you and do more videos. Okay, guys? Thank you so much. And bye-bye. See ya.